He's one of the complete players in the league. I think every year he's been in it, he's just gotten better and better. And I think just operating the offense at such a high level, I think pre-snap, he's so experienced now, so he's seen so much, and I think you can see it by how he's playing. His early down efficiency is as good as anybody. I think last year, one of the things that really elevated his game was just how fast he played on the early downs, and then he put so much pressure on you on third down and in the red zone and stuff like that. But I felt like the early downs, the decision making, just playing really, really fast, and as a result, the offense plays really fast, extremely explosive. He's distributing the ball to everybody. Everybody is a threat to touch the ball, and I think that's a sign of a good offense and a good quarterback. And I think people think of him for the spectacular, and there's plenty of that, but I think he's just playing the position at a high level. And he brings a lot of intangibles to the position too, the energy that he plays with, the physicality and toughness. So he's a great player. Joe Brady and that group, Aaron Cromer, they do a great job putting it together, and they play the right way.
What are you seeing from Kool-Aid right now? It seems like he's right there, and there, but it's there's just been some completions and stuff.
Yeah, I think Kool-Aid's playing well, playing solid. We're really pleased with how he's playing. I think his coverage in all three games has been close. He's been connected. There's been a couple in the deep part of the field that people are going to focus on. That's living life in the NFL. But as a defense, we've been outstanding in the passing game in terms of explosive plays. And the two guys that caught passes on him are good players. But I'm really pleased with his progress, how he was in training camp. I think he's carrying it over. He's won a lot of tough downs too. And now he just needs to continue to improve. He just needs to play more. But we have a lot of confidence in him.
What you walk away thinking of Quincy Riley's debut on defense?
Yeah, I thought a solid performance. It was good to get him that amount of snaps, and I thought he looked like he belonged. Certainly the play there at the end, the forced fumble, was a great sign, a great trigger play. No hesitation, which is what we really believe in. There was no hesitation, and he went for it and made a big play for us. And so it was a good first outing for him, and now just got to continue to improve on the practice field.
What is it that you like about Stallberg? We saw him pretty early in the game, I think on a third down, rush package maybe. What do you like about why you get him in there?
Yeah, he's got some dynamic qualities for those space downs, those loose play downs. He can really run, and not only can he tackle in space, but he can rush. So I think he gives you speed and zone defense. He can cover man-to-man, and he can rush. So we're just trying to find ways to feature some guys. And, you saw in that first possession, made a real impactful play. So he's continuing to do a good job on special teams, and hopefully we can continue to find him roles on defense.
Shifting back more towards heavier personnel, or is that just kind of like the first four teams that you guys are kind of seeing?
Yeah, we have to be among the leaders in base defense played. Really that was just the schedule. The first three opponents, they play a lot of base groupings. So, it's been fun to play base defense again. We were joking as a staff, we've played as much of 4 DB defenses, which we would consider base defense. So we've been able to rumble a little bit in the run game, and it's kind of a throwback in that way. But and Buffalo's similar. They'll play the bigger groupings too, with Aaron and Joe and that group. They do a good job featuring their tight end group. They have a good fullback. So, again, it'll probably be another one of those games.
How does that kind of challenge when teams are built more for nickel and dime, and you are seeing so much base? What the challenge is that present?
Yeah, I think the structure of your defense. It used to be where you start in base defense and then get to nickel. Where now it's almost different than that. Where you're starting in a 5 DB world, and 4 DB defenses are becoming more extinct. So I think the fact that we in training camp get to play so much of it, I think is an advantage. If you just are playing against an 11 team, it's hard to practice your base defense. So we are fortunate here, we get to practice it, and so we're more prepared for it. And then our personnel here, we're engineered where we can play it and feel confident in it. So, I just think the league is always trending in cycles, but I think all the offensive coaches would tell you if they can have a good O-line and a good tight end group, that's going to give them more options. So, the tight end group really can help you be diverse on offense for sure.
How disappointing is it not to have Chase Young so far this season? What is his absence meant for what you might want to do as a pass rush?
I'm just disappointed for him, number one, because he had such an outstanding training camp. He was one of our best players, throughout the whole camp. He was dynamic, in all of the scrimmages and all the, the practice against the Rams. I thought when he played in the preseason against Denver, he showed his quality. So, we just got to be patient right now. But certainly he's going to add a dimension to our defense, and we're going to be excited for it. He's working hard to get back, and we'll all be excited when he's suiting up for us again.
He's dealt with injuries in the past, but was very healthy here last season, and now is kind of dealing with this. Do you have to do anything with him just to kind of keep the confidence and up and the frustration away, or like how does he handle that?
I think as he's gotten older, he's become wiser and more patient. But he also knows the quality that he put on tape during training camp, and I think that is his confidence. It's the silent tape. And he's been out there, and he got to play against the Rams, who's a quality team, and he went out there against Denver, which is a quality team, and then he knows what he did in practice for us. So I think he has really, really high confidence. His patience is being tested, and hopefully we get him back soon.
We're talking about the Bills' heavy personnel. Just what are the challenges of facing this run attack that they have?
Yeah, they run the ball a lot of different ways, out of different personnel groupings, and every single one literally every single one you can think of. And then when you factor in that they play 3 really good runners and their quarterback is a part of that equation, then you're going to get premium, production. And right now, Cook is as good as there is, in the league in terms of production, run game and pass game. And they find really good roles for the other runners too. And then certainly Josh is such a weapon. So the fact that they are effective running it, I was with Aaron Cromer and LA with the Rams, and he's as good as it gets in the league in designing a run game. So, they, like I said, they play the right way, and we're going to have to be at our best on Sunday.
James Cook's ability to reverse field, to cut back, and so how does that challenge you? How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, I think they've trained him really well there. I think he really trusts his tracks. He really trusts the intent of the play and where it's going. So you can see that he's very in sync with the O-line and the tight ends. And so he's got dynamic quality on his own, but I also think there's an element to the discipline of him on his tracks, and then that leads to even more production. So I've been impressed with that. And he's got that ability to, when he sees the cut, he gets there fast. And I think that leads to more yards. And he's got really good balance and body control. He's got a really good center of gravity, and he forces a lot of missed tackles.
What have you seen in Jonas Anchor's positives?
I think that he's fast. I think there's trigger there where he can get to plays that you need to be able to get to at safety. It's a work in progress from an experience standpoint, and that's really all that we're focused on right now is just continue to get him the live reps so that he can see more. But all the physical qualities are there for him to be a factor in this league. And I think he's held his own. But there's going to be a lot of plays on tape where we're going to expect more. And a lot of that just comes from experience, And so he's got a really good group of guys around him. And he's going to continue to improve the more he plays.
Does the frequency at which quarterbacks have completed their passes so far, I don't know, concern you, or what do you make of it? It's 70% so far.
I think that it's what those completions are doing, and I would say that through 3 games they haven't done a lot. Explosions are how you lose in the NFL, and our guys have been outstanding with that. And we've also tackled the catch well. There hasn't been a lot of yards after the catch, which is something that is really important to us. So we've played a lot of base personnel where there's been a lot of design that's been engineered to go to the deep part of the field that hasn't. That's gotten checked down, which is what we want. Hey, a play that's designed for 40 that goes for 8, that's good for us, And so, we need to continue to make more plays outside. The more playmaking that we can get outside, to your point, I think the better that we're going to be from a takeaway perspective. And I think that that's what's been missing so far are those impact plays in the passing game, whether it's by a DB or a rusher. we haven't quite had those. And, you know, I think the circumstances of the games have all tied into that. But, you know, I think to really take our game to where it can go, we're definitely going to have to, you know, impact the passing game more.
What do you make of just some of the times that y'all have made the play on third down to get off the field and then got hit with the penalty that extends the drive? I think probably one in every game.
Yes.
Like how do you view that as a coordinator, play caller? Like how do you try to eliminate that stuff? Is that some of that stuff just happen in football? Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as a team, you know, we emphasize playing with technique and understand the situation as well as anybody as well as anywhere I've been personally. So the emphasis on playing with technique and understand the situation is premium. And I think that we've learned that through the 3 games. You know, this team that we're playing is a great example of it. You know, they're number 1 in the NFL in scoring after a third down penalty. And so you can't give high-powered attacks, you know, second chances. And so certainly that's where an element where we've fallen short in these 3 games, and I think our guys have seen it, you know, and I think Kellen's done a great job of emphasizing it throughout, you know, springtime, training camp, throughout these first 3 games, and I think our guys are seeing the margins in this league when it's tight, you know, those plays are going to make the difference, you know, and all of us have to have shared ownership in it, and we're working hard to change it.
You guys will like put linebackers a lot between the gaps. Does that add to the layer of disguise that you want to have in terms of just having them drop back and stuff? Does that kind of go toward trying to trick an offense?
Yeah, we're trying to change the look, make it tough on them. Like I said, pre-snap, pro-snap, trying to buy a count for whatever we're trying to do, but create some indecision. And then from identification standpoint, blocking and, you know, running routes and from a quarterback's progression, again, just try to add that layer of tying things together, and hopefully it can create more opportunities for our players.